The Greater New Bedford Community Health Center monthly video series is brought to you by Senior Whole Health, a health plan for seniors that have both Medicare and Mass Health coverage. Online at seniorwholehealth.com.
Welcome to the Greater New Bedford Community Health Center. We will be presenting a series of seminars which we hope will inform the community and our staff about the benefits which are available to the people that we serve.
It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Dan Supernard and Ms. Nancy Medeiros from South Coast Resource Senior Association, and they're going to give us an interesting topic. I know I met them and spoke about your services at the Cape, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Peter. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Peter.
Welcome, everyone. Let's see if I can get close to this thing. I'm Dan Supernard. I'm one of 16 members of the Senior Resource Association. And with me today is Nancy Medeiros.
Good morning.
From one of the members of the association as well, and she also works, as she'll talk about, for EastCare Ambulance. So our point today is just to sort of introduce you to the concept of the group. What is the Senior Resource Association? Why are we a group? What do we do? And how does it benefit you in some way? So I figured I'd just talk generally about the group for a little bit and what we do, and then we'll go through the individual service areas that we provide. Not so much about the companies, but the service area, what an assisted living is and what an ambulance service can help you with and things like that. So, so let me start off with a little bit about the group. The Senior Resource Association was started in 2004. And it was started by 3 or 4 people sitting in a room thinking that they could really benefit from meeting once a month and talking to each other about what they did. That group is now 16 people, but we intentionally keep it small so that it doesn't get unwieldy and we can sit at a table and talk to each other about what we do and really have the time to learn about what each other does. So, so one of the things that we do is meet once a month in roundtable cases. We'll talk about a case that we have, and other people will chime in about suggestions and how they might be able to help in that situation or things to think about. We're also big on outreach and ongoing education. So we'll go to the councils on aging a few times a year and present at things like this. We'll speak at larger events like White's and have tables at different events. And we had for several years a Grandparents' Day. Grandparents' Day, if you don't know, is in September. So we had essentially a fair that we set up surrounding Grandparents' Day. And it was at Eastover Farms in Rochester. And we had a band, and we had hot dog stands, and we had a petting zoo and face painting. And it took a lot of our time to put this fair together, but it was in appreciation of grandparents. And people would come and have hot dogs and bring their grandchildren, and we would have a little, sign that says what we do. So we've switched from that now because mostly how much work that was to put on, and we went more educational. We now have an educational event every year, also surrounding Grandparents' Day. This year it was on Alzheimer's and dementia, and Dr. Peter Ham spoke to the group about Alzheimer's and dementia-related issues. He runs a support group and is very active in the Alzheimer's Association. So, so that was a great event in the fall, and we'll have another one this fall. Some other things that the group does is we do a Take 10 every month where one member of the group presents for 10 minutes on what he or she does and how they help seniors in the community. So, Nancy will talk for 10 minutes about what an ambulance service can do as far as transportation. That really surprised me to learn how broad their services can be. It's not just going to the hospital or to your doctor's office. And then we have events like on June 6th of this year, we're hosting a senior prom at the Dartmouth Council on Aging. And I think this event was put on in Plymouth and was a big success, and we're copying it essentially, which is to say that it's a prom for seniors, not high school seniors, but elders. And it's just an appreciation for them and trying to have a fun day. So we're actually sold out this year. We have very quickly got 100 people to sign up and to attend. I'll be emceeing it. I'll actually be in the tux that I wore at my wedding 10 years ago. Won't fit exactly the same way, but I'll be wearing it. And we have Marilyn Monroe and Elvis coming to the event. A couple of the people in the group will be dressed up as that and be, singing and dancing along to the songs, and food and that sort of thing. Just a fun day for the seniors. What else do we do? We have a website, which is www.southcoastsra.com. And that has information about all the individual members in the group and what they do, and sort of why, a lot of things that I'm telling you now. And we have, we've had a couple of installments, and we hope to continue with it, a newsletter. So you can sign up on the website and get an informational newsletter about different ways to serve seniors and different topics that we write about. So that's sort of us generally.
We understand that senior living is very complex, so our group of professionals came together to help navigate seniors through that system. Now, we are experts in our own fields, but we also resource out. If, we share information is basically what we do. If we are not the appropriate resource, or within our group we can't help them specifically, we resource out to who would be appropriate for them. So we are essentially a one-stop shopping type of resource information website and group. We share a lot of information that a lot of seniors don't understand how to get that information. So we do educate the community. We educate professionals and seniors alike, hopefully for everyone to share information.
Yeah, exactly. We realize that we're only one piece to the puzzle, and there are many people in this room who are other pieces to the puzzle. And if you're involved in the community, Senior Resource Association is just one thing that does this. But you can call any of your local ASAPs. For people listening at home in the New Bedford area, that's Coastline Elderly Services, and that's another great place to start. If you have questions, you don't know where to turn. You can call us, any member of SRA, and the idea here is we're trying to know who else is out there and know where to send people. So that's sort of what the group is all about. You want to do individual areas? All right.
Let's start with you.
With myself?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm Dan Serpinant. So I'm an elder law attorney. And I won't talk about the firm, but let me talk a little bit about what an elder law attorney is, I guess. It's an attorney who helps seniors. And what we do is we make sure, an elder law attorney makes sure that the person has their documents in order, their basic documents. And that can be a will or a durable power of attorney or a healthcare proxy, a living will, HIPAA releases, trusts for different reasons. And there's a million different types of trusts for both asset protection and probate avoidance and caring for special needs children and all kinds of different things. So an elder law attorney really should specialize. If you go to the NALA website if you're curious. NALA is the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. And Massachusetts has the largest chapter. The Massachusetts chapter of NALA is massnaela.com. And that tells you a little bit about what an elder law attorney is and does. And if you belong to a group like that, you go to meetings once a month and you listen to speakers to try to stay on the cutting edge and stay current in this field. So that's a little bit about what an elder law attorney does, which is one of 16 members of the group.
My name is Nancy Medeiros. I am also a member of a the Senior Resource Association. That's why I'm here. I am the patient advocate for EastCare Ambulance. But as ambulance services in general, what we provide transportation, 24 hours, 7 days a week, ambulance transportation. I think a lot of seniors or the community in general look at ambulances as emergency transportation, which is not necessarily always true. We provide emergency and non-emergency transportation. So if you have a loved one at home who needs transportation to a doctor's appointment or to a dialysis treatment or radiation treatment, things of that nature, we also provide those types of transportation. So we are a private company. Most private companies also provide chair car transportation. So not only do we have advanced basic life support service, but we have also basic life support service and chair car transportation service, which most private companies do provide. We are able to go into people's homes and evaluate them prior to their need, so it's a non-emergency basis. We do have, in this community, Portuguese-speaking staff is a must. So we do have a lot of Portuguese-speaking staff on our team. And again, in this area, most ambulance services do have Portuguese-speaking staff. And we are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I was surprised to see that ambulance services are a little more broad than taking someone to the hospital. So if you have a transportation need, call an ambulance service, and if they can't do it for you, they're probably going to be able to find someone who can, like a local council on aging or the Veterans Administration or one of your ASAPs or something like that. Just going down the list, there's a home health care agency in the Senior Resource Association. This one happens to be Tender Hearts Home Health Care. And the owner of that organization is Tabitha Tripp. But a home health care organization, and there are many good ones in the area, essentially tries to keep people out of a nursing home. People want to age in place. And there are a variety of ways to do that. And home health care is one of them. And there are a variety of different ways to pay for home health care. And the idea is that if the family members don't have the time or the resources to keep mom or dad safe in the home, that you'll either pay privately or be involved in a government benefits program that will pay for people to come into the house and assist you and keep you home. And there are generally, people who do that and provide medical assistance, and people who don't provide any medical assistance in the home, but housekeeping and meal preparation and things like that. So if you're looking to stay out of a facility, there's a lot of ways to do that. Did you want to take one?
Yep. Another way to help people out in the community, one of our other members, Nancy Pereira, is the Center Director for Active Day of Fairhaven. And basically, a medical adult daycare center allows loved ones to go to work, and the person in need can go to a center. It's kind of like a social daycare that you'll see with the Council on Aging, but it has a medical aspect to it. So Monday through Saturday, they can go to this facility and get some of their medical needs taken care of, but then are allowed to come back home at night. So their loved ones can also go to work and they're allowed to stay at home longer.
What a blessing that is for so many people. A lot of the adult day health programs are paid for by Community Mass Health. So sometimes you pay privately, and you may be eligible for a government benefit that will pay to send you there and give the spouse at home usually, or the daughter at home usually, some sanity during the day. We also have a reverse mortgage specialist in our group. Our reverse mortgage specialist is Mike Kennedy from iReverse Home Loans. And for those of you who don't know what a reverse mortgage is, it's essentially you set it up so that you can take equity out of your home. A regular mortgage is one that you pay monthly, and they give you a loan and you're paying it back during your lifetime. I guess the reason they call these reverse mortgages is kind of the reverse of that. You take the money out, but you don't pay until you pass. And I'm not a specialist on reverse mortgages, so bear with me. Either you pass or you're out of the home for 12 consecutive months. then the loan comes due. But you're not making monthly payments. So it can be helpful for people who have a large mortgage on their home and are near out of money outside of the home, and they want to stay in their home. So they might take the reverse mortgage to pay off their regular mortgage, so they're not making monthly payments, and now they have some more liquidity every month. They're not making those payments. They have more money to spend on their own quality of life while they're there. So they used to be, and I'm not pitching for any particular agency, but it used to be very expensive. I don't know if Mike would want me to say that, but it used to be very expensive to close on a reverse mortgage, and there's been more competition in the market, and the prices come down, and some of them even recently have waived costs on the reverse mortgage. So it's a lot more economical. It's not for everyone, but it's a good way to stay in your home if you need to tap into the equity. My turn, your turn?
I'll take one. Another member of the SRA is Jody Dawson. She's the Community Sales Director for Atria Fairhaven Assisted Living. And assisted living is yet another option for someone who needs a little bit of extra care, but they don't yet qualify for nursing home. So it will keep them out of a nursing home for a little bit longer. They are supervised 24 hours a day. Trained staff is available. They get a choice of apartments. They have assistance with activities of daily living. They have meals that are served on site, and they're taken care of in a social environment, as well as there are trained staff available. So it is another nice alternative to long-term care. It's a different level.
Yeah, I think when I started in this area, I had blurred the distinction initially between the assisted living and the nursing home. And if you or a loved one are at that stage of life where you need care and it's difficult to stay in the home, go and tour them, because you'll find a lot of the assisted livings are like 5-star hotels. Beautiful facilities, great service. They get paid for either privately, or there's a very low-income community mass health program that can help to pay, and there's a veterans benefit that can help to pay for the assisted living as well. So it can be a nice option before the nursing home, which generally enhances the quality of life of the senior. We did your company. Mm-hmm. We also have a financial advisor on board here at the Senior Resource Association. He is Steve Coleman, and he is a New York Life agent. And many of you may know New York Life. I happen to find it a very good organization. But in general, a financial advisor is someone who's going to, we always say with the elder law attorneys, we try to protect your money, they try to grow your money, is my simple analogy there. So they can have very good ideas, sort of out-of-the-box thinking on how to stretch your income, how to, maybe get into a life insurance product that produces cash value year after year that you can tap into, tax-free, to increase your liquidity as you get older. So that's not what I do. That's a job of a financial advisor, and we really lean on them to guide seniors through that. They generally mostly do life insurance and annuities and investment decisions and things like that.
Marie, okay. So another one of our SRA members, Marie Cashman of Wykert Realtors. And you wonder, why would we have a realtor in a senior association group? And she's actually played a key role in helping seniors to either downsize. So she will help them find a home that's more appropriate for their lifestyle at this stage in their life. So she works really well with seniors into negotiating what's realistic for their lifestyle and what their needs are. So typically downsizing is a stress for seniors when they're no longer able to live in a home that is either not handicapped accessible or just too large for them to stay in.
Yeah, when we were talking about potentially assisted living or nursing home time, sometimes the house needs to be sold. So it's good to have it's good to find a realtor who specializes in seniors. Just along with that, just to skip around, there's also a Shifting Sands Transitions is a group of is an organization in our group. There are many out there like this who will move you, and not just move you, but a good group like this will do everything. Like if you're moving into an assisted living, I understand that they'll have a meeting with the family and make sure that you're taking what you want, but you're leaving what you don't want. We see sometimes hoarding and accumulation of a lot of stuff that nobody wants to hang on to, but nobody wants to go through either. And Shifting Sands Transitions and other groups like this will go through that with the family and keep what you need and either sell or discard what you don't need. And then when you move to the new place, I understand that they'll set things up for you. They'll hang the pictures and fold your clothes and put them into the drawers. And it really seems to be a soup to nuts service for seniors.
Another SRA member, Maurice Peruta, is a community outreach director for Hathaway Funeral Homes. So funeral homes are always one of those topics that no one really wants to discuss until they have to. But having someone on board and educating the community on how important it is to do that proactive work so that your family doesn't have to worry when the time comes has been a great asset to our group. She's educated all of us on the importance of being prepared for when that time comes, because it makes end of life a lot easier.
It may be the last stop on your journey, but it will be a stop on your journey. So it's good to learn about how that gets handled and the best ways to handle that. We also have Holly Stevens and Keith Guinan are the directors of Beacon Adult Foster Care, which is another member of our group. And it's commonly referred to as adult family care. And this isn't a daycare that you go to during the day, which is another great service. This is you have a person caring for you in the home. And there's a particular program in government benefits program that will pay that person to care for you in the home. I believe up to $18,000 a year tax-free. So it can be, my understanding is, really anyone of your choice other than a spouse or a legal guardian. So we've seen, in many cases, daughters, sons, nieces, nephews, relatives. They have to live together. It's an in-home. They have to live in the same house with the senior. But if they're really helping care for the person, then the state will compensate them because people, as you know, are leaving their jobs and really bending over backwards to keep seniors at home. And this is a way to compensate them. And the government is realizing that it's less expensive to do that and to help care for people in their home than to pay for them eventually in a nursing home if there are no other options. So that's a great program for that. And if you have questions about that, give us a call.
Keeping people safe in our home, keeping elders safe in the home is important to the group. So we do that in educating them in multiple ways. We have different group members who assist with safety, and Raymond Melanson is actually the owner of Next Monitoring System, and he installs safety equipment and electrical maintenance service. And we have Richard Boucher, Community Relations Director for Medical Alarms USA, who will help families in their home with safety equipment and medical alarms. So anything that's necessary to keep them safe. Raymond will do the electrical work for, or any type of work for safety bars or handicapped accessible equipment that's needed to keep them safe in their home. And Rick would do the medical alarm systems that will also keep them safe in their home.
Yeah, the joke with my dad, some people in this room know my father, is he has a toolbox and you open it and it has the number of the fix-it guy is the only thing in the toolbox. And a lot of seniors are like that. Maybe they were handy at one point and they don't want to be anymore. So Ray is sort of an everything guy as far as fix-it and electrical, and if he can't do it, he'll find someone to do it for you. On the medical alarm side, there's a number of different medical alarms companies. One of the things that the person in our group has and some others have is a new feature where if you fall, it has a level in it, it has a sensor in it, so that it can call the medical alarm company if you can't press the button. So that's been a problem through the ages of senior falls down and they're not in a position to be pressing even the button on the thing around their collar. And this sort of does it for you. My turn?
It's always your turn.
Okay. Nancy Reynolds is the Director of Professional Relations at Hospice and Palliative Care of Cape Cod. So there are a number of hospice agencies and a number of good ones. This is one, but hospice, for people who don't know, is end-of-life services to enhance the person's quality of life in those final days. Generally, as I understand it, the doctors have to say that this person has 6 months or less to live. But we've seen people on hospice for years because every 6 months the doctor says, I think this person has 6 months or less to live, and they continue to live. And the hospice program enhances their quality of life. It's a team, as I understand it. It can be spiritual services, a priest or rabbi. It can be home health aides, and it can be housekeeping and all kinds of different services. And they work with the family through the bereavement process and to really help people through that very difficult time. So a lot of people think hospice is they don't want to call the hospice agency because that means the person is going to die. And everyone that I've ever spoke of that used that service raved about it and wished that they had got it in place sooner. So if you're nearing those very difficult decisions in that very difficult time, find out about hospice, and it gets paid for in many instances by your insurance and Medicaid and Medicare. So you probably won't have to go out of pocket to put it in place.
Kimberly Ferreira is our dietitian, our SRA member who works for Coastline Elderly Services. She is fairly new to the group, but she's played a huge role in educating us and the community on how important diet is to our seniors and to all of us in the community. So we appreciate how important diet is to all of us and the difference that it can make in how your quality of life.
I think she's involved in the Meals on Wheels program as well through Coastline. The next service area in our group is a geriatric care manager. And I didn't know what this was before I became involved in this field. A geriatric care manager, essentially, and ours is Kathy Heary of Healthcare Solutions for You. But as I understand it, it's a person who's worked in the field of nursing and social work, caring for seniors for a number of years, and they know the lay of the land. They know a good one will know your area and who's out there to provide services, what government benefits programs are available to you, how best to pay for it. Kind of a mini SRA all wrapped up in one person. And they're a great resource for me. You know, there are a number of government benefits programs, and if I'm unsure, when I have a young person who is disabled and we're looking for health care for them, that I have a discussion with a geriatric care manager to make sure we're picking the right program and it's getting paid for in the best way. And it's great for out-of-state kids. You know, maybe mom or dad are living in Massachusetts and they're starting to get forgetful and you're not quite sure if the house is safe or how they should be cared for. A geriatric care manager can be your eyes and ears with mom in the state, and you can set it up as a one-time evaluation, or you can set it up as an ongoing relationship where there's, you know, monitoring and check-in and all that. but the geriatric care manager can be the advocate for the senior where the child who may live in Colorado cannot.
So those are our SRA members. We share a wealth of information within our group, and also just from working in this area for a long time. So if there are any questions, I know that seems like a lot of information. We do have information set in the back of the room, but again, we could be contacted through our website or through any of the numbers listed on our flyer, and we can open it up to discussion.
And if you're in cyberspace and you're watching this on television, you're not in the room here, you can get the flyer from the website, and you get the phone numbers for each individual member through the website as well, and that's www.southcoastsra.com. So that's us, and we're happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
You didn't mention long-term insurance purchases to help pay for all of these things that we're going to need.
Right.
But that is an option for those that can't get on Mass Health.
Yeah, great question. Should I repeat the question? The question was essentially, I didn't mention long-term care insurance, and that can be a very helpful thing for seniors who can't have their stay paid for by Mass Health. And in our group, that's Steve Coleman, who's the New York Life agent, who's also handles insurance and is very good at that. And let me just, if I can, say a couple of things about that. Long-term care insurance, as you say, if you can't have Medicaid pay for your stay, and a lot of people can't, you just have too much money, or you have IRAs that would have a large tax consequence if you tried to do something with the IRA to achieve Medicaid. So those people really aren't Medicaid people, and they should look into long-term care insurance if they're healthy enough and young enough, I suppose. And it used to be that they just had, the old long-term care insurance product was a use it or lose it proposition. You paid X amount a month for the rest of your life until you needed the care, and then if you never needed the care, you could kiss that money goodbye, and there were no death benefit for anyone. And nowadays, and Steve or any good insurance person can walk you through this, they have these linked benefits, which is kind of a blend of long-term care insurance and life insurance. And the major difference is it has a death benefit. So if you never use it, and the example that they ran for me was two 67-year-olds, married couple, good health, non-smokers, and they had a single premium. In that example, it was $50,000 one time. But it got them three things. It got them, if they never used it, a death benefit of $150,000 to the kids, which is better than the old use it or lose it deal. And they also got a $100 a day long-term care benefit. So if they needed long-term care, it would pay $100 a day. The average cost is about $300 a day. So it's not getting you the whole way, but it's helpful. And then the third thing was a return of premium rider. So if the couple ever needed their $50,000 back, they could get it back, no interest, but they could get the premium back. So that's sometimes a more attractive product than the old long-term care insurance. And it can be very helpful, and it's usually for those people who have a little bit more money and probably aren't going to touch that $50,000 anyway during their lifetime. But ask a financial advisor or a life insurance person. So questions? Any questions from the people at home? None? Hearing none, thank you very much for listening, and have a great day.
Thank you.